Well, it won't sound like anything at all. But hello, this is Sir Rhino, and starting a little late, but we are here with the Brewers Brawl first edition, first week, first match. Got it right up here. We've got Jaffa with Tomorrow Never Dies going up against level 13 David's Party in the USA. So I want to preface this whole night by just kind of giving you a reminder slash, yeah, mostly just a reminder that these decks aren't necessarily tuned to be competitive ladder stompers. I wanted to kind of have some alternative constructed content that helps highlight more of the fun, zany things that Eternal is capable of. So I kind of gave the Brewers this week no direct, say, stipulations that might be for the future, where I might tell them, hey, you have to play this card somewhere in your deck. Mostly I just told them, try and make something entertaining, really cool, fun to watch, and try not to be too aggressive. Try and give you and your opponent time to do really silly and fun things. So that's where we're at. So let's go over the decks that we're about to see, and then I'll have this match get started. So first, let's take a look at Jaffa's deck, Tomorrow Never Dies. Whoop, there it is. So the first thing that will probably stand out to you is the uncastable Flame Blast in his deck. Now I haven't really talked to the deck builders about exactly how they built their decks or what they were supposed to do. I mostly just asked for the deck lists and winging it from there. But I believe the point of this Flame Blast is that Jaffa will be discarding it to Herald Song or Whispering Wind, and then eventually flashing it back essentially with a West Wind Herald later in the game when he has a ton of power available. And the Flame Blast from being cast from your Void with a lot of power available will still use all of that power. It will do damage equal to your current max power. So I think he's just hoping to just shoot people in the face with a giant Flame Blast when Westwind Herald hits. He's also got a lot of other really cool spells to cast from his Void with Westwind Herald, such as Gemini Ritual, Dimensional Rift, and I suppose he can even cast a new Tomorrow from his Void. So what he's trying to do here is just discard spells and then cast them. And then while he can also just be ramping in general and have the Seraph playing as a backup, essentially. Same with Martial Ironthorn. So he's kind of got this Combre ramp slash Westwind Herald hybrid deck going over. Yeah, sorry, Loco. I know. Tomorrow Never Dies I've gotten as a deck name for several different decks, but what can you do? What can you do? So up next is let me pull up the other deck list. Sorry, I'm like producing and casting right now. I thought this would be doable, and I think it is, but it's just going to take me a little bit to kind of get used to it. So next up, we've got level 13 David's Party in the USA. And also, let me know if the deck lists and everything are readable. I'm assuming they are. I only have so many monitors at home, so they're kind of like scrunched off on one side. I can't really read them myself. But what David's got here is obviously Scouting Party just came out, and everybody's trying fun and different things. So he took this in a Shimmer Pack direction, which won't be the first. I mean, this won't be the last Shimmer Pack deck we'll see tonight. I'll just let you guys know that. But we've also got some other interesting things going on here. I believe the combo he wants to do here is get a bunch of tokens in play and, have tokens. That's all nice. But then, to really abuse the Shimmer Pack, he can second sight it to the top of his deck, cast Song of War, and then Warcry it a bunch of times. So he ends up with like maybe a 10-10 Shimmer Pack, then the next turn turns all of his tokens into 10-10 Shimmer Packs. I think that's what he's going for. And outside of that, he's also just got a sort of token theme going on. So yeah, it's certainly a spicy one. The Brewers did not disappoint with some of the angles they are taking with these decks today. I've got to say they have met my expectations and the hype as far as going deep and doing some crazy cool things with Eternal. So yeah, that is looking like our first matchup, Party in the USA versus Tomorrow Never Dies. So let me see if I can get this started. Jaffa's messaging me. Okay, that's all good. That's all good. And I'll tell them they can send out the challenge. And we will get this started. I am excited. I hope you guys are excited. This should be quite the match. Alright, and then... Okay, David is sending out the challenge now. And hopefully Jaffa is getting it. I'm trying to get this first round done quickly as Jaffa was gracious enough to... Oh yeah, there we go. It is past midnight his time, so there we go. Haha. We've got a game, boys. Let me make sure I've got this all set up right. Yes, this looks great, doesn't it? Alright, well that's a little off-centered. That's okay, I can fix that. And voila. Alright, good as gold. Boop. Okay, so wow, we're off to the races already. David's going up first. He's dropping his Grenadins, and Jaffa's showing off his secret pages. Okay. Yeah, no spectate mode. I'm sorry, guys. So if the quality's a little low, that's because I've got 2 Google Hangouts set up and with shared screen cams. So had to jump through some hoops, but it's working. So we're doing what we can with the tools we have. So yeah, both players are just sort of developing their boards right now. David's applying some pressure, hitting away, and ooh, he's deciding, does he want to play some more tokens? Does he want to draw some cards? Does he want to leave up Scorpion Wasp? If I'm him, yeah, I'm just flooding the board, and that's what he's doing. He is going wide. And what is Jaffa going to be able to do about this? It looks like he's going to play a power and pass. Next turn he'll get to play a 2/2 flyer for 5, but he might just get beaten down by a bunch of 1/1s in the meantime. Okay, and David's following it up by, loading up the hand with more cards, and he draws an uncastable Shimmer Pack, but it has some torches to go face. So I guess that's something. Oh my god, Jaffa rips the Harsh Rule off the top? I mean, if you're him, you have to fire it off here, right? Is he gonna play Westwind Herald instead? Is that really an option? He's thinking. He's thinking here. Oh. And he fires off the Harsh Rule in an attempt to stabilize, which I think it does. Oh, thank you for the follow, whoever that was. I don't have the thing popping up. So anytime you hear a new "we," that's because somebody's following, and I don't have that turned off right now. I probably should, but I'm not going to. I love Mr. Poopy Butthole. I just said that on stream, didn't I? All right. So anyway, Westwind Herald's out, so he can always just have it kill itself by casting Harsh Rule from the Void. I imagine that's not what Jaffa's trying to do here. And David is still stuck on 3 power. And probably just going to leave up... Okay, the influence is cut off? Ah, I see. Alright, yeah, I will try and edit that while I can. Anyways, so he's hoping to take out this Herald, I imagine, with that Scorpion Wasp. And if he doesn't have to, well, he's got some torches that can go face or go somewhere. Jaffa wisely, pre-combat, making another mirror image of Westwind Herald. Mirror image Westwind Herald is a very fun little comp in that you make a Westwind Herald, it hits, it casts mirror image from the Void, and makes another Westwind Herald, and that one hits, and casts mirror image from the Void, makes another Westwind Herald, yada yada yada. So they gotta kill all your Westwind Heralds somehow, or you're just gonna keep getting 2/2 flyers, and that's what David realizes here. So he is just going to throw some torches at that Herald. And now Jaffa's got to decide, does he excavate one of them to the top of his deck, or does he just try and draw power here, because he really wants to draw power here. Let's see. Well, he's casting the excavate. Is he? And he's getting secret pages. That makes a lot of sense. It's kind of a guarantees that he gets power. Might not be, he doesn't get to play any of his 6 power spells this turn. But, yeah, he wants that power. He has a ton of 6 power spells in hand. He wants to be able to cast them at some point. And David continues to peck away with his 1/1s, and he is trying to draw power of his own. Both players here are a little tight on resources, and they're trying to dig their way out of it. Although Jaffa's about to explode his way out of it. He can Minotaur Ambassador here if he wants, or maybe he'll just play the Mystic Ascendant and try and live the dream next turn by drawing a ton of cards. Plus, he gets to get 1 card right here off that power that's still in his hand. So he's got a 6/6 that replaced another card in his hand. Pretty good. So now Jaffa's going to be pretty far ahead on resources. And now David's going to want to try and end this game as quickly as possible, as he has nothing to generate that kind of card advantage. Although, Yeti Party, I suppose, generates some card advantage at some point. He's going to fire off the Polymorph, put an end to that Ascendant, and get in for 1 damage and trade with a Frog. So, Jaffa's at 13, and I think he's got to be feeling pretty good about what's going on in his hand. He rips another Sigil off the top to keep drawing cards. And, yeah, I imagine he just loots here. Oh, there's the Flame Blast! We've got the win con in the void. He is literally unable to cast this beautiful premium Flame Blast unless he hits with a Westwind Herald. And then he just burns his opponent's face off. So that should be very fun. If you're not familiar with Flame Blast, it requires 3 fire influence and has power surge, so it uses up all your power and does damage equal to your current power. Slideshow MP? That's mostly because there's no observer mode in this game. So I have to use Google Hangouts and a screen share to get the player's hands and game state. So the players on the other end may not have the best upload rates. They might not have the strongest computers, but it is what it is. I really can't do much about it unless I just watch the games myself and you guys pretended this was a radio broadcast. So yeah. I'm sure Dire Wolf Digital is working very hard on making an observer mode, but it's just not in the game yet. And that's not going to stop us from trying to show off fun stuff. At least it's not going to stop me. It might stop a lot of other people. So we've got the classic showdown of Yetis versus Mystic Minotaurs that are on fire. Like I don't really understand why the premium Minotaur Ambassador is like kind of on fire, but he is, And another Mystic Ascendant has turned into a frog. Ooh, well, looks like Jaffa might say that he recognizes David's 1/1 Yetis and raises him some 4/4 Owls here. Would not be surprised in the least. He can even play Westwind Herald as well this turn if he wants to. Jaffa, the world is his oyster at this point. Oyster. Where David is just a little behind. I don't even think Shimmer Pack can bail him out of this one. But who knows? Jaffa's just so ahead on resources here. He's just dumping so many spells per turn. And David realizes he is in quite the conundrum at this point. If he is checking out, oh man, he is checking out that Flame Blast, figuring out exactly how that works. And realizing that if this Westwind Herald hits him, he's taking 12 from that Flame Blast. And that plus all of those 4/4 flyers means he is pretty dead. So David's trying to figure a way to weasel himself out of this spot. He might have to cast Shimmer Pack on his opponent's board. of course, because of the Aegis on Westwind Herald, that doesn't even answer it. It will block it and still be a 2/2 flyer. So this Flame Blast is giving this Cambrai Elysian ramp deck quite an interesting angle of attack that David seems to be struggling to figure out how to answer here. Of course, he could play his own Westwind Herald and just do the old block and trade. But that line looks like would be spoiled by the Cambrai healer in Jaffa's hand. So it is not looking good for Mr. David's party in the USA this game. Oh, he's thinking about the Shimmer Pack. There it goes. And the old A space. Here we go. Hit A. Hope your opponent is bad at math. Seems to be a very, very good line of play for David here. Means Jaffa will most likely not have lethal on the swing back.
Ooh-wee!
Oh. Caladinus 2, thank you for the follow. I'll try and keep up on those. There won't be any pop-up, but anytime you hear an ooey, that's somebody following. And yep, figuring out blockers is always a fun part of this game. And looks like David manages to get through for 8. And it has a bunch of 4/4s in play. So now I imagine David, or Jaffa, instead of going the Flame Blast route, can just recast his Great Parliament from the Void and play a bunch more 4/4 flyers. Oh geez, so many follows. Thank you, Contrio and D-Debit. And yeah, thank you all for tuning in. This was kind of a weird, crazy idea I had last week where I just wanted some more constructed content out there other than just Scions League, which is great, but, you know, pretty competitive and cutthroat. And I wanted an outlet to kind of support maybe the Johnnies out there and see what other crazy and wild things Eternal's really capable of. So I figured, hey, why not get some of the craziest deck builders I know, send out some messages asking them to take some time out of their day to play with us, and they all graciously agreed. I didn't even have to ask any of my alternates that I had listed for this week. All my top choices that I asked right away. Oh, he's just going with the Flame Blast? He's thinking about it. I don't know if I would do that over... Because he has Great Parliament in his Void, correct? Yeah, alright. So he goes for the Great Parliament, plays a bunch more owls. And I wonder what he's thinking of using this Celestial Omen to tutor up for. But yeah, I already said it at the disclaimer earlier, but these decks are not built with ladder in mind. They're not built for the Scions League in mind. I just wanted the Brewers to kind of be like, hey, I'm going to have this format where there might not be a lot of aggro. I'm going to discourage it. And I want to see what wild and crazy things you can make Eternal do. Because, you know, a lot of the decks out there, while they're sweet, a lot of Scions League coverage right now is like, oh, this mid-range deck's playing this mid-range deck and trying to deal with this aggro deck. And I just wanted to see what, you know, crazy over the top. Look at this. We've got Westwind Herald in play with an uncastable Flame Blast in your Void. Now he's getting a Gemini Ritual or a Dimensional Rift, which Dimensional Rift is also uncastable in this deck. It's just this is awesome. So there's just a bunch of really cool cards that we don't get to see. And, you know, just give a new tomorrow its chance to shine in the spotlight. Although Dimensional Rift just got its chance to shine in the spotlight if any of you watched my draft this weekend. Absolute MVP somehow. Ooh, boy. Jaffa's like, what cool way do I want to just completely go off against my opponent here? And he settles on the Gemini Ritual. And he's thinking about excavating here. But he might want to save that maybe for if this Herald dies, I guess. Nope. Yeah, he fires off the excavate and just, yeah, puts Parliament in his hand. Alright, so he is just going to flood the board. He knows his opponent can't have any harsh rule types of things. Yep, thanks Neon for covering chat for those kind of questions. But yeah, Eternal has its own forums. They're not the most active, but they're more active than any other Eternal forum out there because it's the only Eternal forum. So definitely check it out. There's always lots of good articles and content being posted there. Trying to get more people on the Eternal Reddit as well. That's why I posted in both spots. Obviously, we hang out on Discord lots, but, you know. Yeah, the Discord server is a really awesome, valuable tool. Just lots of great people on there. Always willing to help you out. So I really recommend checking out the Eternal Discord server if you guys have not. Meanwhile, Jaffa is swinging in the air with lots of large flyers, but is concerned about the crackback. And I want to check these deck lists. Does David have any crystallized main board? I'm interested to see, because that might be some sort of out for him. Let's see here. You're probably going to hear these noises. I apologize. David has one crystallized in the main board. Oh, man. He does not draw it here. But it is, that's fun to keep in mind. Ooh, another Shimmer Pack. Will this one be on his own? Yes! He drops the Shimmer Pack, swings in with a bunch of 4/4s again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 32 damage coming in. So Jaffa needs to find a way to block quite a bit of it. But I think that'll be manageable. He can afford to take 12, but he's just going to opt to take none. It's pretty conservative, but reasonable. And it is an absolute massacre, dead bodies everywhere, but the Flyers reign supreme. And that is our very first game coming to an end here at the Brewers Brawl. So Jaffa draws first blood and doesn't disappoint. Party in the USA has temporarily come to a stop, but we'll see where we go from here. So I'm going to let these guys sideboard. And we'll bring up some of these deck lists while they sideboard and get ready to challenge again. So I'm just going to let them know to take their time with sideboarding. Let me know when they're ready for the next challenge. One sec, guys. Sorry. Okay, so let's bring up some of these deck lists. Yes, all of the custom modes, please, Neon. I agree, but I'm sure they are in the works and just not high priority. So let's see Jaffa's sideboard first, I suppose. I would pretend to try and take this seriously as an analyst and say oh, I think he should side in this and side out that. But honestly, who cares, right? It's really important stuff. But let's see, does he have any? Oh, he's got a Scourge of Frostholm in the side. Okay, that could be very good. Scourge of Frostholm locks out a lot of cards. It also costs 10. Passage of Ages. I don't think he saw the Zenith Obelisks out of his opponent's deck. Reign of Frogs is an awesome card. The Singleton Force Field. Woo! That's a spicy one too. So Jaffa's got some interesting decisions to make here. We'll see where he goes. Wonder if he takes out any of his other packages necessarily. Looks like he's bringing in some Lightning Storms. All right, and let's see what David is up to. Looks like he's already done boarding. Man, he's ready to go. David wants revenge. He wants revenge. His party must come back. Alright, I'll let him know when they're ready to challenge away. Alright, looks like Jaffa's just finishing up sideboarding, and then we'll get our next game underway. Remember, this is... Oh, this is a best of 3. So, David's going to try and even it up. Jaffa's going to try and finish him off. And we'll see who gets their wish in just a moment. I can minimize this. There we go. Okay. Excellent. And nope, still waiting. Fire timer. Yeah, yes, evasion. We all make sacrifices for different naming conventions. But what can you do? I think the big thing that annoys me with this is that is just, it was very nice in Magic that all the colors had that were one syllable, and now we have to deal with words like shadow and justice, and they take too long to say, you know. They just take too long to say. I want nice one syllable words. Gotta be honest. Ooh, looks like we've got a game. Okay. Whoop. And okay. So David is on the play again. Jaffa with a 2-power hand, but he's got some heralds, but no way to cast them to try and find his primal. So Jaffa's in a little bit of trouble here, but David doesn't necessarily have the most aggressive start to punish it, but he does have a deranged Dinomancer. That is a deranged Dinomancer in hand. Oh, man. That's a spicy one. That is a spicy one. For those that aren't familiar with Mr. Dinomancer, he's a 1/1 for 4. He costs 4 and is a 1/1, but on the beginning of each of your turns, you get to turn a creature into a 5/5 dinosaur. It can be your opponent's creature, it can be one of your creatures. For instance, one of your 1/1 Yeti spies. And Jaffa's like, you know what? I've got a lightning storm. Yeah, potatoes. This is a tournament in that it's a tournament structure, but the only thing on the line is bragging rights and being the most entertaining person in the room. Yeah, it'll just be, we'll be seeing 3 matches tonight, so this is the first match. Then we'll have another match after this between RNG and Loco Pojo to earn the right to play the winner of this match, and then those two play each other. Yeah, Lightning Storm is a very good card in the right meta, and having it against this go wide dork deck seems to be working very well for Jaffa. He knows he's got to buy time, get to the late game. His late game is going to be much better, and so he's just hoping to get there. And Jaffa taking a moment to just read Deranged Dinomancer, try and remember exactly what it does. And decides, you know what, I'm going to just turn that into a 1/1 for 4 with my Desert Marshal. Which seems like a reasonable decision. Oh, and a new Tomorrow gets discarded by Herald Song. That's a fun little Westwind Herald target, I would say. Hit your opponent for 2 and then just put all of the power in the top 12 cards of your deck into play? Or is it just the top 12 power, right? Is that what it does? I don't know. It puts a lot of power in play, whatever it does. David decides to turn his 1/1 into a 4/4 with his Shimmer Pack and just get in. These Shimmer Packs haven't been the most impressive thing in the world for David so far, but they're getting the job done. And, well, they didn't get the job done in the first game, but they made it a game at least. Okay, and oh boy, so now what's David going to do here? He can just leave up Scorpion Wasp, or he can try and flood the board again with a bunch of Yetis. And he is opting to leave up the Wasp. He does not want this Herald to hit him and allow Jaffa to have a massive resource advantage because of a new tomorrow. Yeah, I didn't tell them to make bad lists. I just suggested to make reasonably competitive lists that aren't, too aggressive. I just wanted things to be entertaining. Yeah, you could argue the Desert Marshals, you know, the ultimate fun police, but you got to play some good cards, right? uh, you know, I can assure you there's no Oni Ronins in any of these decks tonight. I made sure of that. But moving forward, I'll probably have more specific stipulations. For the first week, I just wanted to let the Brewers show off what they can do. But going forward, I'm toying with the idea of saying, every week, telling each player, hey, you have to have this card in your deck, and you have to have this card in your deck. Sort of if you've watched Magic, it's like Iron Root Chef style, or just having funny deck building restrictions where instead of, say, a minimum 75 card deck, we'll do a minimum 150 card deck. Just double the fun, right? If you have twice as many cards, it's got to be twice as fun. So we'll keep that in mind going forward. But for this week, I just wanted the Brewers to kind of show off what's been sitting in the back of their heads that have been begging to come out. And I know I like what I see right now. These have been some sweet decks so far. Yeah, if anybody has ideas, I just mostly started this series as more of a proof of concept / thing I wanted to do for fun. So if anybody has ideas for themes or restrictions or stipulations, feel free to message me on Discord or send me a tweet or a PM, whatever. I'm down for whatever. I just want to have fun and watch people do some crazy stuff. So yeah, feel free to make any suggestions. I will listen to all of them. All right, Jaffa's putting the Herald back into play, trying to get it to connect and get way ahead. And David's trying to figure out how to stop that from happening. Of course, the Yetis that want a party in hand aren't exactly helping with that goal. But Dinomancer's doing what he can to push through some big old dinos. Alright, and here comes the party. Does he decide to dump both of them into play? Oh yeah, he wants to draw cards. Who wouldn't? Unfortunately, the way cards that spawn tokens essentially work is that those tokens can't replace your actual units, which is why he didn't get the option of destroying, say, his Grenadins to replace them with Yetis. Whereas cards that actually play a physical unit, not generate a unit, those can destroy current units in play when you hit the max unit count in play. So it's a little suboptimal, but and Jaffa brings out the Bwahahaha with his new tomorrow. Shoots up to, oh my god, how much power are we going to see here, boys and girls? It's just a fireworks display right now. Look at this. It climbs and climbs and climbs. I think we might have to wait an hour for it to figure out how much power. All right, Jaffa has shot up to 31 power. So he's got, I think, enough to ultimate his Martial Ironthorn now. His premium Martial Ironthorn. My god, I didn't even see that. Well, Evasion, you saw some of the fireworks in the top left, I hope, over his power. Like I said, I'm trying to do what I can with this setup, but it's certainly a work in progress. So I try and have the power and sigils up there on the top left and all the numbers. I guess the number of each sigil influence is cut off right now. All right, I'll have to adjust that at some point. All right, and David just attacks with some dinosaurs. Not sure why he's not sending in the Yeti spies. Um, what's in? All what's in David's hand here is a backlash. It's not like he can stop this Martial Ironthorn ultimate. Not sure why David didn't try and just get cards while he could here. Oh man, and Jaffa is going to ultimate Martial Ironthorn and be able to cast CRF and activate it this turn. Whoo! A new tomorrow showing off what you can do when you have... Well, when you actually manage to cast it. And, you know what? He opts to just make a bunch of owls. Seems good to me. Yeah, I think David had a lot of lines of play there with Dinomancer, and he chose to just do that. Not really sure why. Maybe I'm sure he doesn't have a ton of experience with Dinomancer, so that might be it. All right, well that's that match. So I am going to get the next match sorted out. Congrats to Jaffa for winning 2-0. Of course, that means he has to stay up even later. So I'm sorry about that, Jaffa. He is graciously staying up. He is in UK time, so it's already past, I think, 1 a.m. for him right now. But he's being a trooper and putting on a show for the people. So make sure to really thank him for doing this for the community. I am certainly very thankful for it. He certainly showed up with quite the brew. So, yep, going to take a quick little break on this mic, get the next round set up for you guys. So please don't go anywhere. I will try and have this come back to you guys as soon as possible.